Hey everybody, I wanted to address one small correction from my last video. The Google search I meant to say was Dragon returns to Earth, and it will show you the Falcon 9 SpaceX rocket allegedly came back to Earth January 13th. That was a Sunday, this past Sunday. And what I was saying was no one really caught on to it, that there's this talk about, in the Revelations, talk about Michael and his angels were in a battle with the dragon or the serpent, and Michael was losing battle, and so God casted this serpent or the dragon to Earth along with its angels. So there was a video of New Zealand. There was a comet allegedly that broke off into 4 to 5 different little pieces, and it landed into the ocean. No specific data as to where it landed, but I was trying to connect the dots with that and connect the dots with the Falcon 9 SpaceX Dragon rocket, whatever you want to call it. That there's a connection, but it's fascinating how news and media will report it the way that it sounds, but then if you were to be in our context of how we perceive and how we view everything in our truth community, you can also determine that all the things that we know and talk about, these things come to pass, but we have to start looking at the small things in order to catch the clues. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, I have a frog in my throat, so I'm trying to like talk and second thing I wanted to talk about was jumping of timelines, because I was doing this early December, and things were kind of going a little haywire for me in December, and then my car accident happened a week ago, which was kind of fascinating. So I guess all that timeline jumping I did just kind of it just halted, because I'm not in the vehicle that, that I had been. In the last 3 years, I have not been in the same vehicle, so therefore, what was that fell down? Anyways, what was I going to share with you guys? So I was watching a TV show yesterday, the Roswell. They like rebooted it, so now it's called Roswell, New Mexico, and now it's like it's funny because the details that they added. This show actually came out, what year was that? I think it was like 1999 when that show came out. And the show, my car is beeping. Well, this rental car is beeping. So that the show came out in 1999, I believe, and it starred a whole different cast of people. Now here we are, 10 years later, and this show comes out again. I'm sorry, 20 years later, and the show comes out again, and it's giving more details than what it did before. So I was really fascinated by the TV show, and sometimes I don't want to watch reboots, or even when they reboot movies, sometimes I don't want to watch them because I'm thinking I don't want to be Mandela affected, where I'm put back in an old timeline from before. But that's kind of what happened over the weekend. Well, not over the weekend, some time over the past week, I was put back in an old timeline where my body was in a certain place and position, and now I'm going through those certain conditions and afflictions that I've already went through, so it's a little frustrating. TV shows, movies, they have their plan on how they basically either are assisting others to jump forward, or they know how to do things to push you back. It's kind of weird because when you say timeline jump, it doesn't mean going into the future. It just means you're going into the mindset and emotions of if there was, let's say, you 3 years from now, you would be boosted into the behavior and actions, emotional state of how your future self would be. Therefore, you'll be acting you'll be acting on it now, presently, and that alters and changes your path going forward, if that makes any sense at all. So, like, let's say if you worked at the Gap, or you worked at a grocery store, and there's a song that came on while you're working, and it reminded you of something in your past. It might timeline push you back to that time where, you know, you felt good about that song, or you felt bad, or reminded you of a relationship that you had at that time. And then currently you run into someone and you have and establish a relationship currently, but you go through the same thing as you did in that past relationship. So that's kind of a small example of timeline jumping. What we have to do is kind of rid ourselves of repeating things of the past, because we don't want to get stuck in old cycles and patterns and behaviors of the past. So we want to keep going forward. That's why sometimes, like, when I take vitamins or whatnot, I kind of always buy different brands, so that way I'm constantly moving myself forward. Or when I make these videos on YouTube, it's nice that I become much aware of a lot of these things. I get it off my chest, and therefore I can move forward in my timeline. Because if I contemplate and I don't say anything about it, I get stuck in a pattern. You know? Oh, what's that? Oh. So my battery's dying. Stupid phone. I just started recording, and then my phone was at 50%. Now it's at 10. So I will let you all go. I hope you're having a wonderful week. My birthday is this coming Saturday, so feel free to comment. Let me know your thoughts of my special day. And yeah, I will talk to you all later. Bye.